Yeah, that was a lot, but I'm more bullish on my first Bitcoin and Bitcoin in general than ever before. So thank you all for being a part of it.
Thank you so much, Gabe. This was very amazing. So as you've heard, guys, if you are building something or if you are looking at building something similar or building something in your community to promote Bitcoin adoption, it's best for you to get that grounded knowledge. And my first Bitcoin, they are building another program that would help you on that aspect in life. So we look forward to sharing that link to everyone so you can explore it. And I think, Gabe, if I'm not mistaken, you have to graduate from a Bitcoin diploma program before you join that, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And that's why I mentioned, if this is currently a Bitcoin diploma, then just send it at the end of the class because everyone that finishes will be eligible to go into that program.
Yeah, okay. That would make good sense. So we look forward to doing that. Thank you so much, Kip, for that. So Bitcoin activities in our community, they are going to they are actually going so very far because Africa is a place that Bitcoin proved that it works. So it's left for us as an individual to carry this, knowledge to our community. So I want to thank you once again for coming on board. And this is the practical session, and we can start like this now. I hope yeah, set. Hope everything is ready, man.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks again for the time and the space. I can for sure start. Please, please, please don't feel any um, any doubt in answering or sorry asking questions either in the chat or just raising your hand or just opening your mic. I can hear all of you, so anything that you need, I'm more than happy to slow down. Sometimes I talk pretty quickly, but I'm happy to slow down, repeat something to make sure that you understand exactly what we're doing, because today we're going to go into the practical side of this chapter of how to actually use Bitcoin. So yesterday, or sorry, on Monday, we touched on a few ways that you can get Bitcoin, and this was the main takeaway from the presentation. When you have Bitcoin, right, you've acquired it through one of the three ways. What happens when you actually have Bitcoin? Who owns your Bitcoin, right? That's what I like to say, because in a custody model or in a custody wallet, the person that owns your Bitcoin is the provider of the app or the service that you're using to use the Bitcoin, to receive or send it. In a self-custody wallet, the person that controls the Bitcoin is the person with the keys, which in a self-custody wallet is you. So today we're going to take a look at what we mean by keys. And I'm going to just circle in on this type of wallet, which is a mobile wallet. In the last session, I recommended that everyone download an app called Blue Wallet. So Blue Wallet is where we're going to start. I'm also going to show you, and this is not completely necessary, but I'm going to show you the beautiful side of Bitcoin self-custody. And you can also download Blockstream. I don't think it's called Blockstream Wallet. I think it's called Blockstream app in your app store. So these are two apps that aim to do the same thing, which is give you control for your over your Bitcoin, true control. Does Blue Wallet have an extension? No, there is no browser extension, but there is, if you mean like a desktop app, something that you can download, there is that available. I'll have to double check that actually, because I don't know if the desktop is only available for Mac. Give me 1 second. It is. So the desktop wallet, so I'll share this tab here. The desktop wallet for Blue Wallet is only available for Mac OS. It is not available for Windows. But you can download on the App Store or the Google Play Store. If you have, you might have asked that for a reason. Do you not have access to the Play Store or the App Store? I want to make sure that we're going through something that everyone can see. I think it was Noah that asked that question. If not, and you do have access to the App Store or the Play Store, then that's where you're going to get it. Okay. All right. So let's move forward here. So with Blue Wallet, what we're going to do is we're going to see. You downloaded it on Android. Awesome. Amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this app, and those that were with me in the last session, you guys already know that you should have downloaded the app. I let you know that ahead of time. And let me see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to share my screen so that you can follow along with what I'm doing. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to open the Blue Wallet app. And it'll look something like this. So what we've got on the screen now is the Blue Wallet app, right? This is all that it shows you. So it's super simple. And Blue Wallet is an on-chain wallet. So there is no Lightning support. Blue Wallet is a self-custody app that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin on chain, on the blockchain. Destiny, have you talked about Lightning yet in your course, or no, not yet?
No, not yet. In the next section.
Okay, so in the next session, you'll touch on Lightning, but right now we're just going to touch on-chain, and you'll see what Lightning means and what it offers later. So here, all I want to do is follow the prompts. So Blue Wallet says that I can add a wallet. I'm going to click that option, and I can name it whatever I want. So I can say this is a test wallet. I can say this is my first Bitcoin wallet, whatever you want. But now you have a type. So I'm going to select a Bitcoin wallet. Multisig is much more advanced and something that we don't touch in this course because it's a step up to security that you can get lost in if you don't follow the steps. So just make sure that you're selecting the Bitcoin wallet option. So here I can select create. And what it'll do is it'll give me, oh, you can't see that, but it'll give me 12 words, right? And Blue Wallet doesn't let me share my screen with the 12 words out of security, right? It's not going to show you the 12 words that I have created. And the reason why, if we remember from the last session, is that these 12 words are the keys to your Bitcoin. So if I was to show you the 12 words right now, and I sent Bitcoin into this wallet, and you took those 12 words and you imported them into another wallet, well, you have control over that Bitcoin too. You've basically created a duplicate wallet with the same control over the Bitcoin within that wallet. If someone does not have your 12 words, there's no way that they can take control over your Bitcoin. So this is why I'm not going to take a screenshot of these words. I'm actually going to write them down, and feel free to do the same thing. Follow along with me here. Write down your words because we're going to need them in just a few minutes. And if you have any problems with that, let me know. Also, the order is very important. So it'll show you 12 words in numbered positions. So there's a word number 1, word number 2. That order is also extremely important. You're not just writing down 12 random words. You're writing down words in a specific sequence that the wallet has generated for you.
So why Gabe
I
is putting in the word? How many of us are following up? Can you put up some emoji if you're following up so we can know you're following?
Yeah, if you're following along, let me know. If you're not, just give me a thumbs down. But what I've got here are my 12 words. I just told you I wasn't going to show you. Don't do this ever. Don't show people your 12 words. This is your key to your Bitcoin, right? All right, so do we have our 12 words? If not, let me know. I'll pause and wait for you, but we're going to keep going with the demo so that you guys can see what's happening. And stop me at any point, raise your hand. I'm here for you. So once we've got our 12 words written down, all we have to do is click on the screen. Okay, I wrote it down, right? Blue Wallet wants to confirm that you have your 12 words backed up offline. This is the only way that you can recover your Bitcoin in the event that Blue Wallet either disappears from your tablet, you change phone, tablet, and the file doesn't come over. If you lose your device, again, if anything happens with this wallet and you somehow lose it, the only way to recover it is by introducing your 12 words again into an app, and we'll see that in a second. Now I've got this screen here, so I can see my wallet over here, and if I tap on it, I can open it. And inside Blue Wallet, I can actually add as many wallets as I want. So on the right, I can add another wallet that is for something completely different. So these can be wallets by certain goals, right? If I want to save up to buy a car, if I want to save up to buy some new clothes, I can create these wallets with different spending goals. Remember, for each one, you'll have a set of 12 words. So I actually don't recommend making too many wallets because that's more 12 words to keep track of. So what I would do in the beginning is just have one wallet that you have your savings in, and then you decide what to do in the future. But let's keep things simple for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click into the test wallet that I have created. And I have two simple buttons, receive and send. So when I want to either withdraw from the exchange that I have bought on, or I want someone to send me Bitcoin if I'm buying peer-to-peer, or if I just have something that I've sold someone and I want them to pay me in Bitcoin on-chain, I will click the receive button. And what you'll see on the screen right now is that for the first time that you click receive, Blue Wallet is going to give you a message that says, hey, do you have your backup of this wallet? And since I have written it down, I'm just going to click, yeah, I have. And now you see a Bitcoin address, right? So what I can do is I can either copy this by tapping the address, the text on the bottom, and I can send it to someone. I can share it with someone through WhatsApp or any other messaging service, or I can have someone scan the QR code, and that's what I'm going to do with my phone. And once they have my address, they can send an amount of Bitcoin to that address. So I'm just going to send it to myself here. And I don't need this QR code once I've already shared it. And I've sent myself Bitcoin already. I'm just going to wait for it to come as a pending transaction over here. There it is. So I have sent Bitcoin from one wallet to another. And what we can see here is that I have received about 5,000 sats, which is 0.00005 Bitcoin. And what I can do now is, this is a pending transaction. If I want to see, let me know if I'm cutting out here, Destiny. Can you still hear me? Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says I'm having internet issues, so if you guys can't hear me at any point in time, let me know. All right, so on the screen, I have opened my transaction that is pending. And if I want more details, I can go to the top right and I can see quite a few things. And if I click view in the browser, what this will do is it will take me to mempool.space, which is the public Bitcoin ledger. And it will show me exactly where my transaction is. So I'm waiting for this transaction to be confirmed and be accepted into my wallet. So what I can see here is that the transaction was first seen, or it was sent 2 minutes ago. And the ETA, or the estimated time arrival, is in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to wait approximately 10 minutes for that transaction to be confirmed. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you guys here waiting until the transaction is confirmed. But once that's doing its thing, what I want you to go into is the wallet settings. So on the top right of this page, you'll see 3 buttons. And I want you to click those 3 buttons on the top right and head down to the master fingerprint, which is over here. In that master fingerprint section, you have a button that says view. And I'm going to click that, and I'm going to view the master fingerprint for this wallet. Think about this master fingerprint like the identifier of your 12 words, of your keys, and therefore of the Bitcoin that you have control over. So I'm going to take this number, the master fingerprint, and I'm going to write it down because we're going to need it for the next step in the exercise. So the master fingerprint, once again, if we think of it like an actual fingerprint, is what identifies if you have the correct wallet or not. And what I mean by that is, imagine that you are recovering your wallet and you recover something. How do you create 12 words? Give me one second. So if I go back to the home page, you should see something that says add a wallet here. And you can just add a wallet, put a name, and create, and that will give you 12 words. Let me know if you have any trouble with that. So just heading back to the master fingerprint side, imagine that you're recovering a wallet, right? You've lost access to your app where you created your 12 words. And now you have your words and you want to recover the wallet. What happens if when you recover it, you see a balance of 0? Well, the master fingerprint can tell you if you're recovering the right wallet or not. If it's a different master fingerprint, once you recover the 12 words, than the one that's shown here, then that means that you have something wrong in your words, right? There's some character off, or you haven't recovered the sequence correctly. It's in a different position. And I've got an interesting story about that once we go through the next step. But just for this exercise, it's not completely necessary to record your master fingerprint, but it does help us in identifying what wallet is what when we have a recovery scenario. So let's go ahead and simulate a disaster scenario, right? I've lost my tablet, my phone, I've lost my wallet, or I've accidentally deleted it. So what I'm going to do is, in this settings page, I'm going to go to the top right, and I'm going to click delete. And remember, I have funds in here, so I don't want to lose these funds. But if I did everything right, I'm not going to lose anything. So now it's asking me, do I want to delete? And I'm going to say yes. Go ahead and delete. And now I see this, right? And imagine that you're moving to another cell phone. And oh man, this is unfortunate because a friend just had this happen to him. My friend had a phone and he had a wallet on Blue Wallet. He created his 12 words. I was with him when he did it. But since I am not living in the same place anymore, he has since gotten a new phone, and he was surprised when on that new phone, opening Blue Wallet, this is what he saw, right? No wallet, because in transferring from phone to phone, your wallet information does not come over to the new one. So I asked him, do you have your 12 words? And he said he has no idea where they are. So he has lost a large amount of Bitcoin due to that mistake. And this is why, again, I can't stress enough how important your 12 words are for the safety and control of your Bitcoin. Now, if he had his 12 words, this is the process that he would follow. He would go into add a wallet again. This time, instead of clicking create, we're going to click import. That is really sad. It is extremely unfortunate. Again, through the nature of my business and my job and my duty in the Bitcoin space, it's all about education. So sometimes you can't save people from themselves, but again, my goal is to educate you guys today and as many people that I can touch in the future, and communicate that importance of controlling your money, right? Bitcoin comes with a lot of freedom, a lot of control, but in order to take advantage of that, you have to be extremely, extremely responsible. So, all right. Now, again, you can't see my screen. Blue Wallet is protecting me from inadvertently showing my keys. So when you click import wallet, what you'll see is a big box where you can type in your 12 words. You don't have to put in the numbers. You just have to type in the words that you had written down. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to type in my words with spaces in between them, but not with the numbers. Okay, so I've typed in all of my 12 words onto into the box, and now I see a import button on the bottom. So I'm going to click import, and no, it's still not showing me the screen. So then it's going to go into a searching procedure, and it's going to try to find the wallet that I created. So what I'm hoping for is for it to find the wallet that I had previously. So there we go. And this is the message that you should see once you've successfully imported your 12 words. So now what I can see is that I have an imported wallet on the top bar. And remember how I told you, well, here, it's pretty easy to verify that it's the right wallet. Once I click into it, it's going to load any transactions, any balance that I had in that wallet. And here we can see that I have my 5,000 sats that I transferred from my other Bitcoin wallet. But if you're doing this as a test, which everybody should, before sending any Bitcoin, you won't be able to verify with a wallet balance. So how do you verify that you have the correct 12 words in your hand? Well, after importing, you're going to go to the top right in the settings and go back to your master fingerprint, which hopefully you wrote down. My master fingerprint that I had written down was 176-86610. And that's what I see on my screen over here. So I know that I have the correct backup, the correct 12 words to recover this wallet in any event in the future in which I lose the wallet that I'm currently using. And now I can feel comfortable really sending money in terms of savings to this wallet because I know that I can always recover it with my backup. I'm going to take a quick pause there. Yeah, go ahead, Destiny.
I wanted to ask, concerning this fingerprint you mentioned, do we need to keep it private just as the private key, or we should care less of how private it should be?
No, so there is no need. The wallet fingerprint is really just, again, an identifier, but it doesn't give anything away about the sequence of your 12 words. It doesn't even give away your 12 words. So it doesn't necessarily have to be maintained private, and you don't even have to have a backup of it, but I just recommend that people have it. And if they have it written down with their seed phrase, it's going to be private anyway. So yeah, my recommendation is just always keep as much as you can about your Bitcoin balance as private as possible. Okay, so now, does anybody have any questions up until this point? I do want to open up the floor. Let me know if you had any troubles with that, if you had successes. We're all good? Okay. So, so what I want to do now is that in the chat, I sent another app, which is this one, in case you weren't here when I sent this message. This is another app called the Blockstream app. This is what it looks like. The Blockstream app and Blue Wallet are essentially trying to achieve the exact same goal and give you control over your Bitcoin. Blockstream is a company that creates their own hardware wallet, and you can use that hardware wallet directly with this app, but you don't have to have a hardware wallet to use the app by itself. And today we're going to see how that works. Now, what I want to demonstrate here is the beautiful interoperability of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is built, it's an open protocol built on open standards, and anybody can create an app that follows those standards and give access to anybody in the world. So if you're able to download this app, does the master finger, sorry, I missed that question. Does the master fingerprint change? No, it does not. No, the master fingerprint is the identifier of the 12 words of a wallet. It's not the identifier of each transaction. It's of the overall wallet. So like I mentioned, interoperability in Bitcoin is extremely important. Why? Because if we take the scenario in which Blue Wallet is no longer available on the App Store for whatever reason, and you had funds on Blue Wallet, well, how are you going to see your Bitcoin, right? How are you going to take control over your Bitcoin once again? This is where apps like Blockstream, and there are many, many others, that allow you to do this same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started with the Blockstream wallet. And we have a few options. We can set up a brand new mobile wallet, which will give us 12 words like Blue Wallet does, or I can restore from a backup. And I'm going to do that now because I already have 12 words. Now in Bitcoin, you have a few different sequences of words that you can, or a few different lengths of words that you can create. So here I have the option to enter 24 words if I have them. But right now my wallet that I've created is 12 words. So I'm going to go ahead and type this in. And now you can actually see what Blockstream has no problem showing what my 12 words are. So here, I'm going to type in 12 words. And what you'll notice, actually, this is pretty cool. What you'll notice is that as I'm typing in a letter, Blockstream will give me options down at the bottom because every letter that I type narrows down the options from that library of 2,048 words that Bitcoin has for this sequence of private keys. So I can simply enter and select when I see the word that I'm trying to introduce here. Okay, so once I've entered all 12 words, I can continue, and Blockstream will say that it's restoring or recovering my wallet. And now it asks me to enter a PIN. It clearly has a problem with that, but it had no problem showing my 12 words. Okay. So now it's restoring my wallet. It's going to take a little while. And we'll see if one of you watched me put in those 12 words and is recovering it and is sending to your own address. Honestly, I can't even be mad. Good on you, because you're understanding how Bitcoin works. But if no one did that, then sorry, you were too slow. No free sats for you today. All right, so there we go. So I've recovered my wallet, and what we see is the balance that I saw on Blue Wallet. So I've got 5,600 sats, or 5,000 sats in here, and it's the exact same transaction because Bitcoin doesn't live in a wallet. Like I mentioned yesterday, my Bitcoin doesn't live on a hardware device. It doesn't live on an app. It lives on the blockchain, and I have control over the Bitcoin utilizing my private keys. So what I can do now is, if I like Blockstream app better than Blue Wallet, no problem. I can just send and receive utilizing Blockstream wallet instead of Blue Wallet. There is nothing stopping you from using both applications for whatever reason, picking one and not another, creating on one and recovering on another. They're all interoperable. So this is something really cool that is just built into Bitcoin. Noah, I saw you asked about the Blockstream Jade. The Blockstream Jade is a hardware device, and it looks like this. And this little thing can connect to the Blockstream app. I don't know if you were here yesterday, but these devices do not connect directly to the internet. So this is a device that creates 12 or 24 words, but the words never leave the device. So because it doesn't connect to the internet, it has no idea how much Bitcoin I'm safeguarding with those 12 or 24 words. The only way that I can actually see my balances and create receiving addresses is by using an app like Blockstream to visualize my balance and create transactions, as well as receive transactions. All this does is confirm or sign transactions when I am sending outside of that wallet. So that's what it means by connect your Jade, is connect this to the app so that you can see your Bitcoin that is protected by the device. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if not. And well, that's pretty much the entirety of the practical side of self-custody Bitcoin on chain. It was a lot in a short amount of time. I want to make sure that we either repeat a few things that were not clear, or if you have any questions that you want me to clear up, let me know, and I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, so before anyone ask question, I have a question to ask. When you were trying to put in your seed phrase on Blockstream, it brought out different suggestions, right? So I'm kind of like, I want to get clarity on if anybody, seed phrase can be exposed by random, like by anyone doing like random guessing here and there. Is it possible?
The possibility, Isa, I see you've got your hand up. I'm just going to answer Destiny and then I'll get to you. The possibility of someone just guessing your Bitcoin seed phrase, whether it's 12 or 24 words, is nearly impossible. The way I like to explain it is each sequence of 12 or 24 words, imagine the way that you create that sequence is as random as you going to a beach, seeing a bunch of grains of sand on the beach. You pick up one grain of sand, and then you look up in the sky, and you look at the stars, and you look at one specific star, and you say, that specific star goes with this grain of sand. So then you drop the grain of sand and you walk away. The probabilities of someone coming to that same beach, picking up the exact same grain of sand, and looking up in the sky and selecting the exact same star is impossible. So basically, can someone do it? Like by luck? Maybe, right? And there are people that have, but the probability is like 0. So no, I don't have any concerns over that. And again, this is the basic level of security, right? Using 12 or 24 words is super, super basic, and it's already extremely powerful. You can add so many layers of security to your Bitcoin vault that it does require a very methodical way of thinking, but there's so much more to Bitcoin self-custody that if this is your starting stage, take it slow, but stay paranoid. Questions like this are extremely important for you to ask yourself, is my Bitcoin safe enough? But don't ever dive into anything unless you understand the full scope of what it means. There's multi-sig, passphrase, and miniscript. There's a bunch of other things, but all of that is gibberish until you understand it. I see a question in the chat there, Noah, but Isa, I'm going to go to you first, and then I'll come to Noah.
Jim, my question is about the recovery words or phrases. what is the future of these recovery phrases? Is there likely to be a new, different, or simpler way? And the reason I ask is from personal experience. Last year, I had to change my phone. And when I changed the phone, of course, as I was uploading, I uploaded all the apps.
Yep.
And the apps had my wallets. What I didn't realize is that the wallets couldn't work automatically. I had to go ahead and recover the wallets using the recovery phrases. Now, because I'd been in this space for quite some time, I had about 30 different wallets. So I had to go through those wallets, which I got either through, it was either hackathons or ICOs and things like that. But I had to go recovering those. And luckily enough, out of the 30, I think I recovered 27. But for 3 of them, either I think I had written one of the letters wrongly, and I was not able to recover those, but they had little money. So my question is really, what is the future of the recovery phrases, and is there likely to be a simpler alternative to this? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I do think there is going to be a future where 12 or 24 words is going to be one of the hardest ways to back up your keys. There's currently, and I'll throw it up in the chat. This is one of my favorite teams in Bitcoin. So if you go to this website, you'll find yourself seeing an app that is mainly targeted to Bitcoiners like yourself that have experience with Bitcoin, right? The ones that I showed today are very much for beginners. It's super simple. Create a wallet, recover a wallet, 12 words, on-chain, easy. What Bull Bitcoin does is that it tries to mix the two. It tries to experiment with what we could see in the future, but give really basic features as well. So they've come up with something that's called Recover Bull, which is a method in which you can save an encrypted file into your Google Drive without risking someone cracking the security of your Bitcoin seed phrase. I'm not going to go into the technicals of how that works because it works with a Bull Bitcoin or recoverable server. There is one piece in one side, there's one piece in the app, and there's one piece in your Google Drive. It's a bit convoluted. They did release a video. So if you go to the Bull Bitcoin YouTube channel, if that's something that interests you, just look up Recover Bull, and you'll see what is being tested in the market to get rid of seed phrases. In today's day and age, I think seed phrases are still extremely important. Number one, they teach people how to be responsible. So in the case of my friend, he was careless and did not know where he had his 12 words at all times. I am extremely paranoid. If I don't know where my 12 words are, then that means that I don't know where my Bitcoin is. That's how I treat it, right? So you should be doing a recovery or a health check, making sure mentally that you know where your 12 words are, and physically, like going to that spot and looking like, do I have it? Do I have them or not? Every 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, like at least something regular. There are other experiments, like there's a BitKey hardware wallet created by Block, and this is one of my least favorite solutions for getting rid of the seed phrase, but it is something that exists. And what they've done is basically you can have an app on your phone, you can have a hardware wallet, and if you lose either one of them, you can contact the company and they can recover your seed phrase with either your phone or with just the hardware wallet. But in that scenario, you have absolutely no seed phrases. So there's no interoperability. There's no way that you can take your 12 words and import them somewhere else. So there are two sides. experiments where we're getting rid of the 12 words, but losing interoperability, and others where we still have 12 words, plus we're adding on an extra solution so that you don't have to have a seed phrase. And in the event that you lose your seed phrase, well, here's this other alternative. Yeah, that's a bit convoluted, but it's being worked on. And I think from here, like Bitcoin we're 17 years in, we're going to see a lot of different changes in the future. All right. How does the advancement of quantum computing does it pose a threat to passphrase? So passphrase is, if you're not aware of what it is, it's a way for you to add a 13th or a 25th word onto your recovery phrase. So today we created 12 words in Blue Wallet. If I want to add an extra layer of security, I can put a sequence of characters, and this can be a phrase, it can be something completely random, it can be numbers, characters, something else that I would need aside from the 12 words in order to recover my wallet. So what that does is that makes it even more impossible for someone to just randomly crack your 12 or your keys to your Bitcoin. But again, that's one of those things that comes with a lot more technical ability, a lot more knowledge. So be careful before going into that. Does quantum computing pose a threat? I don't know enough about quantum computing to understand what the true risk is. There are some Bitcoiners that say that quantum computing does not pose a threat right now. I think everybody is on the same page that quantum computing does pose a threat in the long run, in the long term, and we have to come up with solutions to fix that. But in the way that it sits right now, you're totally fine using Bitcoin in the way that we practiced today. Taking 12 words, noting them down, and keeping your Bitcoin safe, sending to a receiving address, you're good. Now, in the future, we'll see developments and recommendations will come when we see advancements in protection against quantum computing. And remember, Bitcoin is not the only one that is trying to protect itself from hacks or vulnerabilities. There's a whole traditional financial system that is worth hundreds of trillions of dollars that relies on either the same or less secure systems than Bitcoin. So those are going to be cracked before any cryptography will be cracked, in my opinion. So yeah, so just to recap, I don't know enough about quantum computing. I'm not really worried about it right now, but I do keep my eyes on it. Thabo said, how do I recover? A little bit of a complicated answer here, but in Blue Wallet, you can just add a wallet, and instead of create, you'll click import wallet, and then just put in the 12 words with spaces, and you should have your wallet once again. Yeah, I think, Destiny, you're going to send this recording. I assume you're recording there. So maybe people can go through and watch again, just follow the steps. There's also a lot of tutorials on Blue Wallet online, so you won't get lost. Currency USD, do you want to know how to change the currency? Because you can change it in your settings, in your homepage in Blue Wallet. You can change to different currencies listed there. Okay, for one of my wallets I was recovering, I realized I had 25 words instead of 24, and I could not recall how I ever got this 25th word. Yeah, I actually had a client, this is a crazy story. There was a guy that reached out to me because he was recommended a hardware wallet. So this is another thing. If you're looking at hardware wallets, make sure that you're getting them from reputable places, something that people recommend that is really easy to use. This specific one that he was using, I had never heard of, but after looking it up, there was so many reviews with how bad it was in terms of usability that I understand why he got into the situation that he did. When it came time to recover his Bitcoin, he also had 24 words. And what we were doing is we were recovering those 24 words on another device, on a new hardware wallet that I like, that is much easier to use. The problem was that when we were recovering just 24 words, there was nothing to be found. We checked everywhere because there are different doors that you can open in Bitcoin, and there was nothing that those 24 words, that key, would open. So at the end, after like 6 hours of spending, sitting down and looking for alternatives with this person, I asked, is there anything besides the 24 words that you had written down that you see? Like, I don't care if it's an actual word. Do you see any other characters written down? And he says, yeah, there's these 2 Pokemon names that I asked my children about when I set up the wallet. I don't know what they're for, but there's 2 Pokemon names and a set of numbers. And I immediately thought, that is insane. That has to be his passphrase. Again, a passphrase can be absolutely anything. It's something that you input. And after trying many variations of these 2 Pokemon names and this set of 4 numbers, we finally recovered the wallet. But had he not had that written down, he would have lost, I mean, it was his whole life savings in Bitcoin. But there's a lot of people that are going to recommend to you that passphrase and multisig are the best way to protect your Bitcoin. Please, please, please don't follow that advice. I personally use passphrase and multisig, but I know how they work. So take it slow, step by step, start with 12 words. And once you get to a point where you're like, I don't know if I'm that comfortable not knowing if my Bitcoin is secure enough, that's your sign to learn, to take a deep dive into true Bitcoin self-custody and up your security game. All right. Any other questions? Throw them up in the chat. Open your mic. Let me know.
Yeah, just one. Okay, we talked about seed phrases. So what would you say are the best way of storing seed phrases?
It depends. It really does. So right now, the best, like the easiest, is definitely paper. But that is not resistant enough. Any of the options, like number one, it should be offline in some format. So first, starting with paper. Then we move into metal. And there's many different types of metal that you can purchase online. And also you might find someone in person selling them. But there's also metal plates. And you can get templates of stamps in metal that have letters, and you can use a hammer and this template and stamp your words onto a plate of metal. Obviously, that is much more resistant to the natural elements than just paper, but I would say at the beginning, just start with paper, and then you can go anywhere you want in terms of resistance with that backup. Just just look for metal backups online, and you'll be totally fine.
And also avoid putting out your seed phrases online. You know, you risk your privacy, and your Bitcoin can be stolen. So yeah, I really enjoyed this session, man. Thank you so much for the insights. So any other question before we round up for today? If you have any question you need to gain clarity, please throw it out here. And if you followed through this tutorial, you set up your wallet or your Blockstream wallet, or you took part in this practical session today. Can we see some emojis to know that you followed? Okay, we see Noah,
I
Sam
think.
Clark.
Wait, I need to know the answer. Who stole my Bitcoin? I really.
Hands up, hands up if you took the Bitcoin. Hands up.
Let me know, please. I'm not mad. I said I would applaud you if you do so, because I made the number one mistake and I showed you what my seed phrase was. But for anybody else that did not steal the Bitcoin, someone has just sent Bitcoin out of my wallet. So how did that happen? I stupidly showed my 12 words online. Someone got a hold of them and they have control of that Bitcoin. Congratulations to you. That will never happen again, I assume, but good on you. Any more questions?
But it would be cool to know the person that did that. It's
I know. I would love
amazing.
to know. I would love to know.
Awesome.
You won 5,000 sats today. Congrats.
That's the best giveaway of the year. Because Gabe here is a Bitcoin advisor, so he knows the thick and thin of storing Bitcoin and doing stuff on Bitcoin. So it's very, very nice that someone did something like this to him.
So funny. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so the recording, again, I'll leave that up to Destiny. He'll share the recording and any emails. Please reach out to me, to the My First Bitcoin team. We're more than happy to help with any questions that you might have. Yeah,
Gabe, please, do you mind joining a WhatsApp group if you're on WhatsApp?
Yeah, for sure. I can totally, I'll send you my contact information, and you can add me to the chat, and I'll be live there.
Okay, so any questions, you can just take it out directly. So yeah, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate this session, and I'm sure everyone took part and understood this session. Please share the WhatsApp link. Well, okay, we'll do so now. I will do so now. So make sure that it's not leave early, because after we wrap up, I will do so. So thank you so much, Gabe. Mr. Gabe, I appreciate you. I also want to thank everyone for joining today's session. I'm sure it was very, very lit. I learned a lot. You learned a lot. I want to just say thank you. So if you have any question or you want to add anything to this session, after this call, we have the WhatsApp group where you can do that. So you can put out any question there, and hopefully Gabe would answer those questions. So concerning the recording will be out hopefully tomorrow, and we will share the link for everyone to go watch, this amazing session. So once again, thank you so much for joining, and do it to also study the Bitcoin Diploma book, because it's a very, very important, tool in this program. By studying the book, you tend to understand what we're going to take in the next session before we even start. So therefore, you would be well knowledge enough to ask more questions and gain full clarity. So yeah, aside that, nothing too serious. All information will be sent to the group, and we look forward to seeing everyone in our next session on Friday. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great day today. Have a great day ahead.
Amazing. Thanks, Destiny. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Gabe.